Before we begin, take a second to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications, because the coins you already own could be hiding stories and surprises that most people never notice, and you don't want to miss what comes next. Today we're looking closely at a coin that many people overlook every single day, a small copper-colored piece that has passed through countless hands without a second thought, the Poland 10 Groszy dated 2012. At first glance, it seems ordinary, even boring, the kind of coin that ends up forgotten in a drawer, a jar, or an old wallet. But for collectors who truly understand coins, age alone does not decide importance, and value is not always obvious. What matters is the story behind the metal, the details in the design, the minting process, the condition, and the small variations that most people never check. This is where everyday coins can turn into serious conversation pieces, especially for viewers who appreciate history, craftsmanship, and the thrill of discovery. The 10 groszy is a familiar denomination in Poland, part of the modern zloty system, and it represents 1/10 of a zloty. The 2012 issue came during a period when Poland was firmly established in the European economy, while still maintaining its national currency. That alone gives this coin a place in modern European monetary history. It reflects a nation balancing tradition and progress, something many men in the 55 to 65 age range understand very well, having lived through decades of economic change themselves. Coins like this become small metal witnesses to those changes. Let's talk about the design, because this is where the story begins. On one side, you see the denomination clearly marked, surrounded by clean, confident lettering that reflects modern Polish minting standards. The simplicity is intentional. Poland chose clarity and strength over excessive decoration, a design philosophy that appeals to collectors who respect function as much as beauty. The other side features the Polish eagle, a powerful national symbol that has appeared on Polish coins in various forms for generations. This eagle is not just decoration. It represents independence, resilience, and identity. For many collectors, national symbols add emotional weight to a coin, especially when the design is crisp and well executed. The metal composition of the 2012 10 groszy also matters. It was produced using modern alloys designed for durability and cost efficiency, which means most examples were meant to circulate heavily. That heavy circulation is exactly what makes high-quality survivors interesting today. When a coin is made to be used daily, finding one with sharp details, minimal wear, and original luster years later becomes more difficult than people think. This is where experienced eyes have an advantage. Older collectors often have the patience and discipline to notice subtle differences that younger collectors might miss. Now, let's address something important. Most 2012 10 groszy coins are common in circulated condition. That's the truth, and serious collectors respect honesty. But the real excitement begins when we talk about condition, production anomalies, and overlooked variations. Coins are struck by machines, and machines are not perfect. Small alignment shifts, die wear, weak strikes, or unusual surface characteristics can turn a normal coin into something special. These are not always dramatic errors that jump out immediately. Sometimes it's a slightly off-center strike. Sometimes it's unusually strong detail in areas that are normally weak, or sometimes it's a surface finish that doesn't match standard expectations. For viewers in the 55 to 65 age group, this is where the real fun lies. Coin collecting at this stage of life is not about chasing trends. It's about knowledge, patience, and experience. You've handled money for decades. You know what normal looks like. That makes you perfectly positioned to recognize when something isn't normal. The 2012 Poland 10 groszy is a perfect candidate for this kind of careful examination because millions were made, yet very few were saved in truly exceptional condition. Another factor that adds interest is how people treat modern coins. Older coins were often saved intentionally, but modern coins are ignored. They're tossed into pockets, machines, and jars without care. Because of that, finding a modern coin in pristine condition can sometimes be harder than finding an older coin that people protected from the beginning. This irony is something seasoned collectors appreciate deeply. It's not always the oldest coin that becomes interesting. Sometimes it's the most neglected one. The year 2012 itself is also worth noting. It sits in a period before many mints around the world began making noticeable changes to production techniques and materials due to rising costs. Coins from this era mark the end of a certain standard of minting consistency. When future collectors look back, they often focus on these transition periods, and that attention can elevate specific dates and issues over time. Let's imagine you find a 2012 10 Groszy in a drawer, and instead of dismissing it, you look closely. The eagle's feathers are sharp. The lettering is clean. There's no heavy scratching. The color looks even and original. Already, you're holding something better than average. If you then notice something unusual, perhaps a striking anomaly or an unexpected surface texture, that's when curiosity turns into research. This process, this investigation, is what keeps collectors engaged year after year. It's not gambling, it's detective work. Collectors in your age group often appreciate coins not just for resale, but for the satisfaction of understanding them. A coin like the Poland 10 Groszy 2012 becomes a conversation starter. You can explain its place in Polish history, its design philosophy, and why modern coins should not be ignored. You can pass that knowledge on to younger family members, keeping the tradition of collecting alive. There's also a psychological side to this. Modern life moves fast, but coin collecting forces you to slow down. It rewards patience and attention to detail. Sitting at a table, examining a coin under good light, feeling its weight, noticing its edges. This is a quiet pleasure many people rediscover later in life. The 10 Groszy may be small, but the experience of studying it can be deeply satisfying. Now, let's address the question everyone waits for, the value. In everyday, circulated condition, this coin is typically modest. That's what most people know. But value is not a fixed number. It's a range influenced by condition, rarity of variation, and collector demand. Exceptional examples, especially those with unique characteristics, exist in a completely different category. These are the coins that spark headlines and heated discussions among collectors. And this brings us to the surprising part that makes people rethink what they keep and what they spend. There are rare, exceptional examples and special cases associated with this coin that have drawn astonishing attention in the collector world. When everything aligns, condition, uniqueness, demand, and timing, the value conversation changes dramatically. In the most extraordinary scenarios discussed among serious collectors, the Poland 10 Groszy 2012 has been associated with figures reaching as high as $860,000. This is not about the average coin in your pocket. It's about the rare standout example that defies expectations and reminds everyone why checking your coins matters. So before you dismiss that small Polish coin as spare change, remember this. History doesn't always announce itself loudly. Sometimes it whispers from the bottom of a drawer. Take your time, look closely, respect the details. And if you enjoyed this deep look into the Poland 10 Groszy 2012, make sure you're subscribed, because the next coin we explore might already be sitting right in front of you.